Welcome to Leading the Follower with your host, Rebecca Benston. Hello, and welcome back to Leading the Follower. It's me, Rebecca Benston, and I am in the process of preparing for my day as I do this podcast. Figured I would try to kill a few birds with one stone and see if I could manage to put together a little podcast for you while I work on other things. This is definitely a challenge for me because I do tend to get difficult, and I want to see if I can do this without sounding like a complete idiot. Now, if you've heard my podcast before, you're probably thinking, well, it really doesn't matter if you're trying to multitask or if this is what you're focused on, you're going to sound like an idiot anyway. So, bear with me. Anyway, I am sitting upstairs at my house and I am braving the elements up here. We have a strange arrangement in this particular apartment, and that sound that you might hear is me trying to brush through my hair, which is long overdue for a haircut. But I figure, why not? Just let it grow until it stops growing, which is kind of the focus of what I want to talk about today. For a long time, probably, over 10 years now, I have had the publishing company Higher Ground Books and Media. Started out way back in 2014 or so. Might have been 2013 officially. However, in the interest of, just kind of keeping it as accurate as possible, I'll say we formally switched over to the name Higher Ground Books and Media in 2014. When we started out, we were Books from Higher Ground for a little while. And, I decided that I wanted to kind of expand some things and offer more than just books. I really wanted to make our books available on audio, which was a big deal, and I managed to do that over several years' time. I think we have about 60 titles now that are also available on audio. So if you are so inclined, you can find a lot of our books over on audible.com. And I think some of them are even available through, iTunes and some other places. Just depends on what you like to listen through. I'm also trying to make some of those available, all of them, available through Hoopla, which is a site that I use through my local library. And I'm able to listen to audiobooks for free on there once they become available, which is really nice because I love to listen to audiobooks. So it's it's a big deal for me. That's one thing that really keeps me going through my workday, is having a good book to listen to. So anyway, recently we have switched over to a new pilot program that will allow me to be a little more flexible in the pricing of those audiobooks on Audible. So I'm trying to go through and jump through the hoops to do all of that, to make our titles more affordable for people who want to buy them over there on Audible. But for those who are looking for them for free, also look at your local library And if you don't see the book you want, request it so that they will try to add it to their roster. Every request helps, give us more credibility and get us into those places so that more people can hear the stories that we have to tell. So that's a good thing. All right. So, that's one big thing we've been working on though is trying to transition over to that new program. And I think once it's really in place, it's going to help a lot. And I'm hoping to see some good results from that. But as I was saying, the thing that that really got me thinking this morning was, you know, I've been working with Higher Ground Books and Media for over 10 years now. Um, and we've had our ups and downs. Definitely started out very slowly with myself and just a couple of other authors. A man from church that wanted some help getting his book put into a better format, something that was easier to um, get workbooks printed for. He had been doing all of this by hand and using a kind of an antiquated machine to do the binding and stuff at home for the groups that he did, and it was very costly for him. And I told him, if I put the book together for you, um, I can get you a nice looking workbook, um, much cheaper than what you are spending on that currently. And I knew that this man used those workbooks quite a bit in a prison ministry that he had. So he needed to be able to print off so many copies of things and make sure that that was available so that, he could get that message across. And I think it worked out really well for him. I'm not really sure if he's still doing the program, um, but I know the book is still available over on our website for anybody that might want to access that. um, and then, as time went on, I got a couple more authors who were interested in working with me and having to do the setup and um, the publishing for their book. And I didn't know what I was doing when I first started out. I was like scrambling to find all the information that I needed. So it was all new to me. I had been writing for several years, and I had a publisher who had been very generous in terms of publishing my first several books in a mystery series that I write. Um, but he ended up having to close his doors, due to just life and growth of his family and just trying to take a direction that made sense for him. So he um, assigned all of our publishing rights back to his authors, and gave us all what we needed so that we could pursue other avenues with the work that we've been doing. He was a really good guy and really helpful, and I'm very grateful that I met him um, online. I never met him in person, but uh, I don't know. It seemed like a very divinely orchestrated um, relationship that I ended up having. He contacted me after seeing my book somewhere, my first book, said that he had read it. I believe he said he got it at the airport, not sure how, but my original publisher was one of those not so reputable publishers. Somehow ended up having a copy of my book at an airport where I believe that is where um, my second publisher ended up finding the book and contracting with me for several more books in that series until he went out of business and and decided that he'd put those back in my hands. But before he did, he purchased the rights to the first two books for me so that all of them would be with him and he could give those rights back to me for free, which was amazing, to say the least. Because a lot of publishers, they won't let your rights come back to you that easily. And he was just very um, easy to work with and very forthcoming about all the things that he needed to do for himself and his family. And I really just appreciated everything. He was very helpful to me too when I had questions about how to do publishing when I first started out. So I'm forever grateful to Christopher Stamp, who used to run Stone Garden Publishing. He Had it not been for him, I probably would not have had the courage to go forward with Higher Ground Books and Media. So, um, good guy there. So, but over the years, as I went on with this business and learned more and more about things, I started getting a few more people who were interested in publishing with me. Um, and it was, hit or miss. Had some that were good deals and some that were not so good. Had a few people who kind of took advantage of my offer to do all the work. Um, and then they just kind of, you know, didn't treat me very fairly on some things. But it all worked out and things moved forward, and before I knew it I had 20 authors, and then I had 30, and then 40, and now, I've over the last 10 and a half years, I've signed over 60 authors. Some are still with me, some are not. Most are still with me. I can probably say I have about 56 or so active authors. Unfortunately, a few of my authors over the years have passed away, which has been very sad for me because when I sign people, I talk to them quite a bit and I get to know them, and I consider them my family. Albeit publishing family, I consider them to be like family. And, I've argued with some where we didn't see eye to eye on some things, but in the interest of keeping the business running and knowing that I am the resource, I am the only person who's doing the work, and I know that in order to continue to do the work, I have to have a full-time job. I can't stretch myself too thin trying to accommodate the needs of one author over 50, so we've had a few tense moments with a couple people, but they're still with me. And, if they choose to go, that's fine. No hard feelings. I understand that people have different visions for what they want to do with their work, and that's fine. Everybody is always free to take another direction, and they know that. But for the most part, I have authors who have published not just one or two titles with me, but gosh, I have several authors who've published 8, 9, 10 titles with me. Um, so I figure we must be doing something right, even if we're not, bringing in millions of dollars for ourselves or for the authors. It's really a give and take. We get the books ready, we being me again, um, and make it possible for the author to purchase copies of the book so that they can use it for their events and so forth. And the authors who really hustle, who really, buy their copies and go out and resell them, they tend to do pretty well. And it really is all about the effort and energy you put into it. I have written over 20 books, and I know that I won't make any money on those books if I don't get out there and let people know they're there, or if I don't do promotions and let people know what they're about, and how those books can be entertaining or empowering for them. I know that I don't make sales if I don't let people know that I'm here. So the same principle applies to all of the authors that work with me. And I can't say that it's ever been an easy journey with Higher Ground. I know that I was very frustrated at several points along the way. I have seriously considered shutting it down on more than three occasions over the last 10 years, if not annually. Um, but I know that the reason I do this was never to become wealthy. I really always wanted it to become something that would help me to be self-sustaining. However, it never has. And I can only assume, I can only guess that if God wanted it to be that way, that he would make it that way. Um, because I get a lot of other benefits from being the person who runs this company. Um, and they are worth far more than money could ever be. And that is just knowing that someone was able to tell their story, someone has been able to share their story, and someone is motivated to write more stories and share their experiences with people in hopes of helping them to heal and overcome obstacles and challenges that they face, which is the whole purpose that we exist for, is to help people tell their stories, which in turn helps people heal and helps people grow their faith and use their gifts to help other people heal. And it's supposed to be just like that. So, I as I said at the beginning, my hair just grows and grows and grows, and I think it's time to cut it. It's time to get rid of it. Time to lose it. But then I think, nah, not just yet. I'm not getting the word to let it go just yet. And I ask God every day when I'm in prayer, please guide me in the direction you want me to go. If this is still something you want me to do, let me know, show me in one way or another. Is this the direction you still want me to take? Because if it isn't, I know I should be pouring my energy into whatever it is you want me to do. But he has not directed me otherwise. And he has um, not given me the green light to cut operations and just say, this is no longer the thing that I'm going to do. um, and the thing with God is, he doesn't always make it easy for me. He has used Higher Ground Books and Media as a way to teach me more about myself than anything else in the world could have taught me. He has he has helped me grow into a more confident person. He has helped me grow in my faith and understanding of how he works and who he is, just because I refuse to put this down before he tells me to put it down. And there's so much to be said for that, for using the gifts that he gave me, which I believe is being organized, being a storyteller, being able to multitask, being very good organizationally, like just keeping all the plates spinning. And I get tired, but I enjoy what I do for the most part. I love to put these books together. I love to work with the authors, and I really love to hear good reviews about our books from the people who read them. I love to get feedback from people who have benefited from what we do. Um, and along the way, I've done quite a bit of freelance work that came in as a part of what we do. That if I hadn't been doing this, I probably wouldn't have met those people either. And I've met some really, really cool people through freelancing and ghostwriting and doing a lot of the different things that I do on the side. And it's helped me through some difficult financial times as well when I didn't have money coming in. And, I refuse, refuse to go and be part of the welfare system. I won't do it. Um, I, I would love to have the benefit of someone helping, but I just, I just can't. I can't do that sort of thing easily. So, you know, um, I will take help where I can get help, where it feels like I should receive help. But I know there are people out there who are far less fortunate than me, and I would rather see them get the help than go and suck up resources that I really could work for if I just put my mind to it. So that's always been the way that I operate. That's the way that I feel is right for me. I can't tell you what's right for you, but I feel like God does this for us. He gives us gifts and skills and talents and abilities. And he wants us to grow in all of those things that he gives us. But um he's not going to just hand it all out to us in a really well organized, well developed plan that we can follow easily. There's going to be confusion, not necessarily the kind that the devil creates, but we'll just be really lost for a bit trying to figure out what am I supposed to do with this. Um, he gives us experiences that will shape our responses to things and help us to employ the skills and talents that he gives us in a more effective way. Um, he's just really good about letting us have life and letting us make our decisions and letting that shape our future actions so that we can go in the direction he would like for us to go. Sometimes we follow in the way that we're supposed to, sometimes we don't. But that's part of the journey, and he wants to guide us through that as much as we will let him. So, even though things get frustrating and I'm not seeing that our books are getting the attention that I'd like them to get, I know that someone out there is benefiting from our presence. And even if it's just one person that picks up a book that I have helped make available and that one of my writers has written or talked about, and I think I'm doing my part. I would love to have a broader reach. I would love to have a bigger impact, but God will dictate that, and he will make it possible when it's time. And I think, he scales it back for us too when we're not able to handle it just yet. When I'm able to handle more, he will give me more. But for now, he's trying to grow my confidence. He's trying to grow my steadfastness. He's trying to grow my determination and my courage to step out and do the things that I need to do. So I'm going to let him. And that is what I wanted to talk about today. So I'm still doing lots of things with Higher Ground as far as the different services we offer. We do ghostwriting, we do editing, we do proofreading, we do formatting, book covers, all that kind of thing. If you have a book and you want a little help with it, we can do coaching. And I try to be reasonable in my pricing. So, give us a call, a virtual call, rather. Usually it's an email or a message that will reach us better. Let us know what you need and what you have to work with in terms of your budget, your time, and we'll see what we can do to put together a way to help you um, help you use the gifts God's given you. We're still accepting a few submissions. I have a couple of spots left on the calendar for this year for around Christmas time, Thanksgiving. If you have something like that that would be appropriate and you'd like to submit it for consideration, please feel free to do so by emailing me at highergroundbooksandmedia@gmail.com. And we'll take a look at that and let you know if it's something that we feel will fit our catalog and our mission. We also offer hybrid publishing contracts for people who are looking for help with publishing but don't necessarily want to be confined to, um, splitting the royalties with someone or not having control over things related to their book. That I'm happy to discuss with you if you have questions about it. Otherwise, if you submit your manuscript and we select it to be published. It's usually a 70-30 royalty split. The author gets 70% of the royalties earned, and the publisher gets 30%, which helps offset the cost of putting the book out there and all the marketing that we do corporately for all of our titles. We don't really have a dedicated marketing specialist that will work with you one-on-one, but we can do that as a side service if you would like to engage us in that way. Again, we is me, and I like to make it sound like I'm more than one person sometimes, but I am really just me. Um, so, that's what we do, and that's what I was here to say today. I hope you had a wonderful holiday weekend. This has been a much needed rest for me, and I am kind of sad to be going back to work tomorrow, but grateful that I have work to go to. So, I hope that you get the rest of your rest today and you can go back to work feeling refreshed and invigorated and empowered. And if there's anything that Higher Ground can do for you, that you will get in touch and we can see if it's time to start that journey with you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, like I said, and that everything goes the way you would like it to go. So, God bless. Thanks for being here and listening to me ramble today. I hope my daily routine wasn't too distracting with the background noises, all the hair brushing and the makeup and all that. Even though you can't see me, the time here really, it made a difference because boy, was I scary when this started. But anyway, have a great rest of your day and rest of your weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for stopping by. Be sure to check out our website and blog. The blog is at www.leading-the-follower.com. Thanks and God bless.